Hello and welcome to another incredible Wellness Wednesday. I am your host, ADRIANNE Ruiz, all the way from Austin, Texas. And good morning if you are in Asia Pacific. Good evening if you are here in the States with us. And I'm just super excited to be here with everybody. My background, of course, is in health and wellness and personal training. And it's one of the reasons that I said yes to 3 personally. I love the product line. We have 6 incredible products. So whoever invited you on here tonight is thinking about your daily wellness, your health, and how you can improve it in a more simplistic way. So I am thrilled that you're listening in. If there's anybody that you wish was on, go ahead and send them a quick text and remind them to jump on real quick because you are in for a treat. We are doing our gut health series this month, and I am super excited to share with you guys one of my amazing friends, Ali Elman, all the way from Dallas, Texas. She is an integrative nutrition coach, an entrepreneur, a mom of 2, and she is in the middle of filming a wellness series for television, and it's called The Pursuit of Health. And I'm super excited for her to jump on and share more about her story with you and how we can have better gut health through using 3, but also through really understanding how the body works and really how to have better wellness on a more simplistic in a more simplistic way. So Ali, are you here? There you
Hi,
are.
thank
Hi.
you for having me, Adrienne.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. I know you're busy. You said you just finished filming I think it was more than a teaser. Like you've been filming for quite a while now, haven't you?
I filmed a full pilot episode for the show that you mentioned, Pursuit of Health, and we've been working on the editing phase, and now we're on to the next phase of pitching and selling the show, which we're all really excited about.
That's so amazing. I'm super
Yeah.
thrilled. When you shared with me the first time I ever met with you, we were sitting in a kitchen. You had brought in some homemade Brazilian nut milk in a
Yeah.
matcha smoothie. And I was like, I am in love with this girl. Like she knows what she's doing. And I just was so excited, like when you just sat in there and you were just simply explaining like that you had been through a real traumatizing experience that had brought you to this place in your life where you're like, hey, I need to focus on my own health and gut health. And if I don't have my health, I don't have much of anything. I would
Yeah.
love for you to share with everybody in the world of 3 tonight, just like what happened? What happened to you, Ali? How did you get here? How did you dive into saying, I've got to be an integrative nutrition coach and help everybody understand this?
Yeah, well, thanks for the question. And hi, everyone out there. I'm happy to answer, and I'll try to keep things as concise as possible because we have a lot to talk about tonight. Yeah, essentially, I've struggled with gut issues my entire life and didn't really know what was going on. I was diagnosed a few years ago with ulcerative colitis, but really wasn't given a lot of direction on nutrition to help support it. I had to kind of dive in myself and figure out a lot of things. Unfortunately, because it had gone on for so long, my intestines were so inflamed that I ended up in the hospital with something called intussusception, which is collapsing intestines. It's very rare in adults. It can happen in children. And I had to go under emergency surgery to remove 13 inches of my intestines. So it was quite a wake-up call. I was already on the path of wellness and trying to heal myself. And when I woke up, because it wasn't a given that I was going to wake up, I was so septic. I knew that it was time for me to pursue this kind of lifelong dream of being more in the health and wellness space and to help others. So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. What a scary moment as a mom, to just be like, okay, how do I continue to have better health in my life? I mean, it's something that I honestly like that's scary because it's quick and you're like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, what just happened to me? But a lot of us are, and I hate to just be kind of like callous, we're hurting ourselves consistently over time through poor habits, poor diet, poor eating. And we'll get to a certain point in our life where we're like, oh, probably shouldn't have done that all those years. Probably, shouldn't have worked at those high levels of stress, and I know you've been on before and you've talked about the whole cycle of wellness.
Yeah.
So will you share a little bit more about, really just how you ended up with, okay, let's put the focus on the gut health?
Yeah, well, I didn't really have a choice because of my own issues and knowing that so much of the inflammation was coming from my gut. And I happen to be born, with certain genetics that created that environment that really disrupted everything in my intestines. And stress is a part of it. Your environment's a part of it. And let's be honest, we're all living in a really stressful, high-paced time that's full of toxins, no matter what we do, no matter how perfect we think we are. Like, it's just a tough time to try to feel our best in this modern world that we live in. Yeah, I mean, I could go into a lot of different things. I have a lot of habits and tips and tools that I'd like to share.
Yeah.
Um, for sure, if you want me to, and kind of
Of course
how,
you do. Yeah, I mean, I
yeah.
know that you have learned some things from Ayurvedic practices in India and you've been incorporating those things into your routines. And I mean, I would love to hear how those practices correlate with gut health.
Yeah, so if you were on last week, I've got big shoes to fill after Dr. Fred Williams. He was amazing. So just to kind of quickly touch on some of the things he spoke about, because sometimes people think, Ayurvedic practices or Chinese medicine, don't go hand in hand with more modern medicine. And actually, that's not the case. They can go hand in hand really well and really complement each other. So everything that he, even though I really do love Ayurvedic medicine, I like all kinds of different practices that round out your day-to-day life and make you feel better. So, he talked about our diverse microbiome, eating a wide range of plant-based foods to support that good bacteria. I totally agree with that. I'm a true omnivore. I do eat meat in small amounts, but high quality. I think that's really important. We really want to avoid the processed foods as much as we can. It makes a huge difference. I know it's hard. Limiting alcohol, as he mentioned. And one thing he didn't talk about was limiting caffeine, which I will talk about that as well. It's a tough thing for us to think about because it's a part of our day-to-day life, but just being cognizant of the caffeine intake. I'll talk about that a little bit later. As he said, it's important to supplement because we're living in an environment that's depleted with, our soils are now depleted, our food's being turned over really quickly. So it's just not the same as it used to be, but the supplements aren't a replacement for our day-to-day practices. They just really help boost and enhance what you're already doing. And he mentioned movement and exercise, and I totally agree. This is important for health span, but what's interesting is movement is also, because we're focused on the gut, it can help have a positive effect on the gut microbiota, which is really interesting data that we're starting to understand now. So all of those things are at the core of my belief system. But tonight I kind of want to talk about some things that techniques to support the gut and digestion that are topics that may be a little bit different than we're all used to talking about, if that's okay with everyone.
That's okay. Yes, that's okay. I'm like ready. Here's me taking notes, Ali. So
Yeah, no.
very
So,
excited.
yeah. So basically, I talked a little bit about my experience. Um, and I really wanted to not just have to take a daily pharmaceutical to heal my gut, which there's nothing wrong with, and I totally agree that if you have to take it, like get the problem under control. But in addition to that, I wanted to understand how I could continue to support my gut and just feel better and reduce inflammation. So, a big shift for me was my mindfulness in all things. And this meant paying attention to how our digestive system really works and how it's tied to our vagus nerve and how it responds to the rhythms of the day. The vagus nerve kind of controls our stress, like our fight or flight, our rest and digest. So what I want to talk about is sort of my top habits for digestion and gut health through my daily practice. And I'm kind of going to run you through a day in the life of how I spend my days. And I'll include when and how I take the 3 international products. So everyone can kind of hear. And this is not by any means, I never think anything should be My protocol doesn't mean it's your protocol, but sometimes there's little bits and pieces that people can take away that just spark interest, or they go, oh, I didn't think of that, and maybe I'll try it, and maybe that'll work for you, and maybe that'll feel good. So in my opinion, gut health starts from the moment that you wake up, the moment you open your eyes. So before I even get out of bed, I take 3 big belly breaths. And this is something I've learned through some yoga practices. Also in India, we talked about a lot about how most of us are holding in our bellies, right? A lot. It's just kind of how we're taught. So in the morning, I like to just stretch my belly out with 3 deep breaths. And, we've got like 15 or more feet of intestines in our belly. And at night, we're probably on our side and scrunched up. So I just really like to take that big breath and fill up my stomach and let my stomach and my intestines have some room. I find this is really helpful. It's also just a nice way to start the day and calm your nervous system from the get-go, because a lot of us want to reach for our phones, which is not necessarily the best thing to do. So three big breaths. And then the second thing that I do is I keep a copper carafe of water next to my bed. And the first thing I do is take 1 cup, it's a small cup of copper water, and I drink it down right away. This flushes my intestines, it gives it hydration. And I love copper water because there are many proposed benefits, and this is big in Ayurvedic practices, but one of these benefits is that it's known to kill bacteria that causes inflammation in the gut. So either way, whether it's regular water or copper water, doesn't matter. It's great to just right away drink a bunch of water, because we tend to get up and then go wander off and do some things. I know I do that. So if I don't keep it right by the side of my bed, I can get distracted very easily. So I've kind of trained myself. Again, this is becoming a rhythm in the day. And so my body kind of expects it now. And after this, I follow this with a warm cup of water. Again, this takes very little time. I put a pinch of mineral salt in it. Think about this is like warming your engine, right? You've flushed your digestive tract with a glass of water, and now you are kind of like warming it up. You're helping it flush out toxins with this warm. I do just a mug of water with a pinch of mineral salt. It helps with the central nervous system as well. And the mineral salt is good for replenishing the electrolytes that you've lost during sleep. Helps promote better water absorption as well. So after I do this, this is when I take my Eternal blend packet and I take it at room temperature. I know we like to refrigerate things totally all good. It's not like the end of the world, but I kind of feel that I'd really try to avoid cold things for the beginning part of the day. I want to warm up my digestive tract. I don't want to shock it. So I keep everything room temperature or warm. And I think of it as like this is kind of like lining my gut or lubricating my intestines and infusing it with all those amazing phytonutrients that are in the Eternal blend. It allows me to fast for longer because it's giving me that energy. It kind of suppresses your appetite as well. There's studies that show that when you fast in the morning, this also increases gut microbiome diversity and metabolism efficiency. Again, like this is just stuff that has really worked for me, someone who's struggled forever. My stomach is now feeling really, really good. And I used to take just glutathione in the morning, just a packet. Well, now I've gotten rid of that entirely, and I just use the Eternal blend because it's got that in it, and it feels really, really good. So this is something else I want to mention. I talked about caffeine earlier. I know these supplements are amazing. They're meant to be highly absorbable, and they are formulated incredibly, right? But if we are taking our supplements and then immediately drinking a bunch of coffee or caffeine, it's something to be thoughtful about. I would recommend trying to wait about an hour before you start drinking caffeine, because when you do that, there's the tannins and the caffeine can interfere with the absorption of many minerals and vitamins. So we're taking all this good stuff. We want to get the most out of it, right? So avoiding the caffeine for a little bit is really, really helpful. I know sometimes that can be hard to do, but for me, by the time I've gotten up, drank my water, and done all of that, and taken my eternal package, it's only 7 a.m. So if I wait till 8 to have coffee, it's not the end of the world. And I typically go for something more mild. If you have gut issues, this is about supporting the gut, thinking about really so coffee in particular can be really dehydrating. So if maybe something more mild, if you struggle with IBS, especially something like a matcha or a homemade chai, that really helps with the gut a lot more. And it gives you more of a mild boost of caffeine. It's just a suggestion and something that I have done when I was a huge coffee drinker. I drank so much coffee, and now I have it in minimal amounts. I don't drink a lot of coffee anymore. And one other thing I want to tell you is that, in addition to not drinking it around your supplements, if you wait longer to have caffeine in the morning, you're going to see more benefits from that as well. You're going to sleep better because in the morning, our cortisol levels go up, and you want them to go up. And if we're drinking coffee too soon, I won't go into all the science, there's plenty to back it up. But if you drink coffee too soon, you're disrupting that natural circadian rhythm, and you really want to optimize that in the morning. So just a little tip. So for me, I wait. And then hydration earlier in the day is key. I like to drink the bulk of my water by 3 p.m. That doesn't mean I don't drink water past that, but I'm really thinking about hydrating. There's studies that show hydration during the first 10 hours of the day is optimal. Your body seems to hydrate better. There's studies on that are coming out now. So it's interesting. And just practically, if you're drinking too much water later in the day, you're disrupting your sleep, which we don't want to do. We want really good sleep. And I mentioned not doing a lot of cold things. I highly recommend room temperature water as much as possible, especially around meals. Room temperature or even warm water around meals, it's more effective for digestion, and we really want our bodies to digest well. I live in Texas. I get it. I love my cold water, but I really have started to practice drinking cold water later in the day and not around my mealtime. And I feel better doing that. I feel like my food is digested better, and it doesn't seem to cause any indigestion like I had before. It's a big practice in Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine. They really don't like drinking cold water at all. So I'm throwing a lot out at you.
We're all excited. I know everybody in three is like, okay, eternal next. Okay, warm
Yes.
water next.
Yeah,
Got it.
well, I'll get to
It's so
and I
clear. I
take
love
all
it.
the supplements, so you guys will see when and how I take it. I'm kind of running you through sort of how a day might go. I'm going to mention something totally random right now, but let's say in the morning you're getting in the shower and you like to sing in the shower. Okay. This is kind of funny, but diaphragm engagement happens from singing, and this is really good for your digestion and your mood. So the
Wow.
singing stimulates your vagus nerve, which is responsible for the release of stomach acids and enzymes that break down food. Gargling with water also does the same thing. So this is simple. Again, these are things that we might not think about. It's just about being more mindful, but we might do them anyway. But it's like going, oh, I like to sing in the car on the way to work, or I like to sing in the shower. Go for it. It's going to help your digestion. It's going to support your gut. Sounds silly, but why not, right? This doesn't cost any money, and it's not complicated. One other thing before I talk about my second round of 3 supplements is that when you get dressed in the morning, be cognizant of how tight your clothes are around your waist. Tight fitting clothes have a capacity, when too tight, to cause additional stress on the stomach and the intestines. For years, I wore really, really tight pants and belts. And that's what the style is, right? So you don't even think about it. But if we're thinking about supporting this really long organ that's curled and has needs as much space as possible. If it has an obstruction, this is an added stress to that amazing organ. So just kind of thinking about, gosh, am I like cinching in my waist? Is this uncomfortable? You probably want to maybe think about if that's an obstruction to your gut. And it kind of doesn't allow you to breathe very well either. You really want those nice big belly breaths to allow for room and digestion, and it helps with stress. Okay, so getting to when I take my second round of supplements, which is the Vitalite and the Immune. I typically take these around 10:30 or 11 o'clock in the morning. I've waited long enough for my like 8 a.m. coffee, so the caffeine is now dissipated. And I want that nice boost from the B vitamins. I also, the caffeine's no longer interfering with the absorption. That's the hope. And I'm getting the boost from the probiotics as well that are in there. So the Immune is enhancing my gut microbiome, and I sort of think about it too as my defense support as I move through the day. So I still have not really had much to eat because I like to fast. And then after this is when I really do want food. My stomach is starting to get hungry. I've been hydrating. My digestive juices are now flowing and increasing, and my body's asking for some food. So that's when I'll have my lunch after I take those supplements. Okay, now when we are eating our meals, most of us, as you know, we're living in this environment that we're going and going and going. So we don't think about this, but again, so digestion starts in the mouth, right? So your saliva has enzymes that break down food. It's great to get hungry because those glands start to kick in, right? And they're going to start to do their job. But not if you're wolfing down food as well and not chewing properly. So we really want to start breaking down the food we're eating in our mouth by chewing properly and slowly and just taking a moment to eat. Sounds easier than it is, right?
Really? Yeah.
But and it sounds like, well, of course I'm going to stop. But most of us really, I mean, if you have kids, you got work, you're running out the door, drinking, slamming something. This can be hard, but if you struggle and you really want to support your gut, take a moment, chew properly, allow your body to rest and digest and to relax. All of this is going to help your digestive tract. The more work in your mouth, the less stress on your belly, is what I like to say.
Wow.
So fast forward to around dinner time. This is when I want to signal my body that it's time to rest and digest. Okay, I've been on all day. I've been working hard, usually doing a million different things like we all are. So what I like to do is to drink a calming tea before dinner. A lot of us do the like sleepy time tea after dinner.
Do it before.
Those have a lot of diuretics, right? So that's great, but you're going to run to the restroom a lot in the middle of the night. It's going to, instead of helping with sleep, it can often disrupt your sleep. So to signal again about the natural rhythms of the day, I'm signaling to my body, hey, it's time to rest and digest. So I'm having like a chamomile tea or a valerian tea. I really love fennel. So I put I make my own tea and I put some fennel in there. Fennel's really nice for digestion as well. It's big in India. So I do this before I eat and I go, okay, now it's time for me to calm down and sit and enjoy a meal.
Oh, I see.
And yeah, it's really, really helpful for me. And let's be honest, this is usually the time of the day when a lot of us want to grab a glass of wine. I get it. I get it. It's the perfect time to grab a glass of wine right before dinner. But, if you can think about maybe replacing wine on certain nights with that calming tea instead. It's a really healthy habit because I love my wine. I get it. Like I'm not touting being completely abstinent from alcohol if you don't want to. But we do know the studies show that abstaining from alcohol or limiting alcohol is really beneficial to your health. So instead of that before dinner drink, maybe think about a before dinner calming tea. It's going to help you chill out and have a nice meal. Hopefully, even amongst the chaos, I know I have chaos in my house all the time. I was just yelling at my children before this and saying, like, get my kids out the door. So I get it. Um,
I was
life
gonna say, like, are you drinking tea while you're making dinner for the family? Like, how do you?
sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
sometimes I am. I'm sipping on it while I'm making dinner. And it does signal like, hey, it's time to chill. Just enjoy making dinner. And which I do. I make most of our meals at home. And I've that's a whole nother conversation. But so then I'll skip to the last part of my supplementation, and that's after dinner. And I take the Purify and Revive because while I sleep, I'm allowing the Purify to detoxify the heavy metals. And I feel like it's aiding in the elimination that I want first thing in the morning. It's so important to eliminate our bowels in the morning. It's so like it makes everything better. So I'm thinking, I'm taking that, and I'm also taking Revive for the recovery. I work out most days, or I do something active, but it doesn't matter even if you don't do anything, just recovery, and then it's calming the inflammation in your body and in your gut while you sleep. So that's sort of like my arc of the day, and that's how I use the supplementations and how I try to incorporate them at different times for different reasons, and being thoughtful about how I'm supporting my digestive tract throughout the day.
I
Sorry,
mean,
that was
no, you took like a wealth of knowledge, like this much information, and made it this concise in less than 28 minutes for everybody on the call that's listening. Like she rallied through our 6 key products, when to incorporate them, which would be best for the rhythms of the day, the digestion of the day. And you threw in there like Ayurvedic practices, and you threw in there things like don't wear tight pants. Like, hello. I mean, I always wear tight pants. And then I wonder, I'll be like out to lunch and being like, oh, I don't feel very good. And hello, that's why we're cramping that intestinal organ. I mean,
yeah,
that's huge. I
yeah.
will say I have to pat myself on the back a little bit, but of course this is personal training background. But I was like, I love the way that you talked about slowing the digestive system down, because even myself, like we know when 5 o'clock rolls around, we're supposed to be slowing down, right? But for some of us, we're stuck in traffic on the way home from work. We're thinking about what we're supposed to be making, for dinner that night. We're thinking about the 500 emails that we still have to finish. I mean, it is like this is stress in at least you guys, most countries that, we're working these fast-paced jobs. Um, and so another reason why I love this industry is because you get more time freedom with it. But at the same time, it's like we still are thinking these things, if you have kids running around, all of that. So I've never heard anybody say like, hello, that's the time I do want to go for a glass of wine. And instead, you're saying start with the calming tea. And so I know I'm like, okay, this is not rocket science, but I never would have done it had you not suggested it just now. I'm going to
Well,
try it.
hey, whatever, if you try it on for size, see if you like it. It's not, listen, come Friday, I feel like I've earned my glass of wine and I still have it. And I look forward to it. But during the week I really try to abstain, and it's again, I want to master my body. I don't want it to be the master of me. So with these practices and rhythms and having I don't like the word rigid. I like being within a structure so I can have more play within that structure. And I found through that, and this is just a side note that I should mention. So when I started on this journey, I was 25 pounds heavier. Weight loss was not at the forefront of why I decided to change certain things. I just started to change things and the weight came off, for anyone who's thinking about that, because I know, and I think I just had so much inflammation in my body. So I lost 25 pounds. I don't even really think about it. I My blood work is better than it ever has been. I tested my blood before starting all of the supplements and after, because I'm very curious. I like wisdom from the past, but I also want to back it with science. So a lot of the things I talk about might sound like, oh, this is like, more woo woo, but actually there's a lot of data to support everything I'm talking about. And I also test my own blood to see how things are working for me. And all my markers are better. So it's not just how I feel, and it's not just that I've lost weight and all of that. It's everything. I mean, my energy's up, my blood's better. So there's something to this.
It ends up being everything all at once, but I think when we live in such chaos, it's hard to create simplicity. And what you're talking about is finding freedom through simple disciplines.
Simple
And I
disciplines. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just simple disciplines. And so, I mean, I'm excited to incorporate that as a new discipline. And I'm like, okay, to like take the belt off, like relax a little bit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
something I'm not like, even when we first started this call, I'm like, I'm so excited. And you're like, you are excited. And it was almost like this message, like, calm down. How much caffeine did you have today? A lot. I'm just saying, I'm being honest. Like, I understand the struggle,
That's
right?
okay. Don't we
Yeah.
we're all too hard on ourselves too. That's a whole other episode. But this was
Yeah.
meant to talk about the gut and
Yeah.
how we can do certain things to really help it flow and move through the day, and how we're squeezing the most out of these amazing supplements. And I'm so grateful to have found them. I only take three. The only other thing that I do is I incorporate H2 water. So it's just like a tablet that gives more hydrogen to the water. And that's all I do. But other than that, I'm just on three and these other practices. So
It's beautiful what you shared. I think anybody who's listening, and all 180 of you, I mean, if you even took one of the, I think it was 10 suggestions that look at my notes, one of the 10 suggestions she shared, you guys are going to up level your daily wellness. Obviously, if you guys are not a part of three yet, we want to welcome you to the world of three officially and have you dive in a little bit deeper to understanding why our products are so powerful, the digestion aspect of them, the liposomal delivery, the whole food organic nutrients. Whoever brought you onto this can send you links to those. But we have some really incredible people on tonight, real people, real results. Like you just heard Ali's story, real people, real results, right? And we want to share with you guys from a few testimonials of people who are experiencing phenomenal results with three. And so first up is Tasha, all the way from Virginia. Tasha, are you with us?
I am. How are you?
I'm good. I would love to hear more about how you're experiencing better gut health with three.
100% glad to be on here and share this. And Allie, I took so many notes. I just bought a copper water bottle so that it's beside my bed. I mean, I took them and
oh,
because you really resonated with me, I since being on, well, I started these products and I was 50 pounds heavier
Mhm.
than I am today. And I started to learn what gut health really is and how that gut health can help. And I was talking with Adrienne today, and what I take all of the products. I absolutely love them. I have my own regimen on how I take them and when I take them. Um, but I've got to tell you that the two that really I've noticed when I haven't taken them a difference is the Vitalite and the Purify. When I am not on those, and right now I just ran out of them, those two, luckily I have everything else. I've noticed a fluctuation actually in my weight and the way that I feel and how exhausted I am. And I've got four kids. I can't be exhausted. Like it's not possible. Like I have to be on it and awake and ready to go. So the products have just been absolutely amazing in fixing what gut health issues I had. And they've just helped and I think supported so much in that weight loss.
Wow. 50 pounds. That's incredible. I mean, and we don't even talk about weight loss in this company. It just, for those who are looking for it, it's almost like a side benefit of improving gut health. I mean, Tasha, that was powerful. Ali, what did you think about that?
I completely agree. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, those I agree. I mean, I love all of the supplements, but if I don't have those, I do notice a big difference for sure. And I don't know about you, but for me, like I said, I wasn't really setting out for weight loss. It just kind of started to come off. The energy came up, and I mean, a lot of different things happened, but I think the gut microbiome is so huge. in weight loss and inflammation, and a lot of inflammation we can, I think, attest to. We think it's weight, a lot of it's inflammation too. So that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tasha. That was
Thanks.
perfect. Seriously amazing. And I know your lifestyle a little bit. So I mean, to share just how the products
And
have
four
helped.
kids, my word. I only have two, and it's a lot. So yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Next up, we have Dan Zipper, all the way from Virginia. Dan, are you with us?
I am.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, I am great. I am great. Ali, that was very, very educational. I live with a nutritionist, and I always consider myself like the before picture for a lot of what she does. So I've become a little bit of a guinea pig for stuff.
Oh, wonderful.
But yeah, so relative to gut health and kind of my story, I'll say I was born with a sweet tooth.
Uh,
I love desserts. I love carbohydrates. My diet is probably not ideal, but it's been hard to stop a lot of those things. And as a result, I did develop some pretty bad reflux over the years. You know, something that I probably had for 20 years. I tried to control it with the PPIs or the proton pump inhibitors, like a Nexium, really taking that as almost a daily type of prescription. Um, the Tums and the everything. I know what my triggers are, but I can never just stop those foods. So I came across Vitali. I can't say it right. So was it Vitali? Is that
it doesn't even, you know what, as long as you've got it in your house and you take it, it's fine. But
yes? So
Vitalite, I always tell people
Vitalite.
if you don't know how to say it.
I just take it, and I will say, honest to God, it's enabled me to get off of the Nexium. I didn't even really realize it. I was just slowly able to go down to once every 3 days, once every 2 days, and once never. And the only thing that's really changed was taking that packet, and it's really the only thing that I do from a daily on a daily basis is taking that. For me, it's easy, it's convenient. I take it with a little bit of food around midday, and it's been fantastic.
Wow. I mean, I can't tell you how much I hear that. Like I've been, in personal training for over 18 years, and I hear all the time how much people struggle with acid reflux and indigestion and all of that. And, a lot of it is just our food here, where we are it's just full of stuff that we're unaware of. I mean, microplastics, even things like that. So a lot of it is that. But a lot of it is, also taking care of our health, like what Ali was saying. But I mean, that's incredible. So you're not taking any of that anymore now that you've been on Vitalite. That is huge. I mean, Ali, what do you think about that?
I mean, it has the strong probiotics in there, and that might be changing things in your gut microbiome that is stopping the reflux, which is really cool. I myself don't know enough about reflux because that's not been my issue. But so it's really interesting to hear other people's stories to understand, because the more we hear, like then I'm like, okay, now I'm curious. I want to know, how that correlates, and that's so cool.
Yeah. Dan, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to do this. I know you were like running kids around and doing stuff with Carrie, and she's like, he has a great story. And that really was powerful. Like, I mean, I can tell you right now, there's people on here who are going to be like, okay, I better start Vitalite if I don't want to stay on, omeprazole for the rest of my life, So, I mean, that's huge. And it does have 100 billion live probiotics in
Yeah.
it. So for sure it's helping with that, but that's incredible. So thank you so much for sharing with us.
Great, thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Dan.
thank you, Dan. Yes, you guys, this is just two of, three, and, including Ali, and four, including myself, people who are sharing with you guys tonight the power of what we're doing here with three, and the power of understanding and having the right tools. I always say if you have the right, if you know the rules, you can win the game, right? And Ali just gave you guys the rules tonight. She gave you some pretty good rules. They're not gonna be hard and fast, but she gave you some pretty good detailed rules, which we've never actually had shared before, how somebody is really using three in their daily rhythm quite like that. So that was just absolutely amazing and beautiful. I will tell you guys that this 6 incredible products that Ali shared quickly is Vitality is the first one. It is our multivitamin packet. It's 5 little capsules. It's whole food organic nutrition. It does have the 100 billion live probiotic in it. It also has an omega-3 679 from a sustainable fjords in Norway. It's a beautiful product. And it's really affordable. I mean, so you guys, it's something that I look at and I'm like, gosh, to try to piece all the greens and the reds and all of the products that are in that, you just won't do it for the price point that this is at. And then Revive, you know, she's talking about inflammation. Everything she talked about was gut inflammation, really, and how the products are being incorporated. But Revive is the one that she was saying she was taking at night. It's an orange caplet. Its basis is in turmeric, liposomal turmeric, curcumin. It has in there different types of mushrooms. It's a beautiful product, piperine, menthol, wonderful for joints and inflammation. She also talked about the immune along with the Vitality in the morning. That was her morning routine. The immune support product has 4 different types of nootropic mushrooms. It helps with even seasonal allergies. It's just beautiful. And we always think like, oh, you know, I need to boost my immune system with things like vitamin C and zinc. Well, that's true. But what you really need to do is help the body cope with stress. And this is an immune modulator. So that's what she's talking about, is putting the body back into less of a stressful state. That vagus nerve really determines that she was sharing with you guys. So I can see how Ali sharing Vitality and immune being the first part of what she does, and that after the eternal part of it is the perfect timing for what she's sharing, because that is a lot of times when our stress starts to a little bit around that part of our day. The Purify is a detoxification product. It has in there things like liposomal milk thistle and burdock root and dandelion root, and it's got chlorophyll in it, and it comes in and it helps prime those pumps of your body. So it's not a laxative. No, it actually just binds to heavy metals and artificial sugars. And that's really what she was sharing. That's the perfect time to take this is at night before you go to bed, along with the Revive, so that you can help eliminate that and really boost up your elimination organs so they can do their job appropriately, because they're just so overloaded right now. With our environment and stressors and all of that. Now, the first product she was taking was the Eternal at the beginning of the day. That's the morning product she was talking about. You guys, it's got goji berries in there. It has 10 different types of superfruits. It does, like she was saying, she was using the liposomal glutathione. This is liposomal glutathione. It also has 200 milligrams of liposomal resveratrol. Phenomenal product. And last but not least is the collagen. You can look at her skin. It's glowing. She looks beautiful.
Take the collagen too in the morning with Eternal when it's that time, when it's once a month.
Perfect. Yay, perfect. So those are the 6 products that will be shared with you guys. All you have to do is send a quick text to the person that invited you on and say, hey, send me some links to look at. And we would love for you guys to get started. We do have a Good for Your Gut. This is June Gut Health Month. And we do have some exclusive prepaid pack offers that are good for your gut, and also good for your wallet. So I wanted to share those with you. You are able to purchase them in your back office if you already have a 3 account. If you don't have a 3 account yet, feel free to spend $30, open a 3 account, and you can order a la carte, or you can order in a 3-month supply or a 6-month supply. The 3-month supply, you'll save $165 in product and only spend $24 in shipping. The 6-month supply, you will save $335 in free products, and you will only, I think, pay around $30 in shipping. Now, of course, that depends on where you're at, but I just want you to know that there's significantly less shipping because they're shipping all of those products to you in those months' supplies so that you can really have a good run. And I like that. I really appreciate that. I gotta say, I go to the health food store and I see something I like it, I want it over time. This allows you to be able to go, okay, I'm going to give it a 3 months. You guys, the first month, you're going to be like resetting everything. The second month, your body's gonna be like, oh, she's serious or he's serious. This is really happening. The third month, you're a whole new body. Okay, you're literally changing on a cellular level. You've got all the right materials, all the right products to be able to do that. Now, this is just 3 of our products, and yes, we have 6, and I highly encourage you guys to, make sure that you check all of them out and then decide, I can start with this and add into it as well. The other thing I was going to share with you is that all of our products are listed in the PDR. So if you are working with a healthcare practitioner, of course, our products were not intended to cure, prevent, or treat any type of disease. They obviously were just getting good nutrition into the body. You are what you absorb. You're not what you eat. You are what you absorb. And these products absorb at a really high ratio, almost up to 95%. So if you are working with a healthcare professional, you want them to look it up in the PDR. That's the physician's desk reference or prescriber's digital reference. your doctor can look for them there and make sure that they're good and right for you. And again, these are for purchase in your back office. And so, Ali, I just want to say thank you so much again for being here with us tonight and taking time out of your busy schedule and really from the kindness of your heart, just sharing what you know is working for you.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to share. It's what makes me happy, and it's my purpose. So that's why I'm here. Happy to be here. Thank you.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for being on. We are going to be hosting another incredible Wellness Wednesday next week. So make sure you guys invite your friends on, same link, same time, and we'll have another health professional sharing with you the tips and tools and why 3 International can make a difference in your life. Thanks so much for tuning in. Good night, everybody.